And hi, everyone. Welcome to BeerThralls Presents Beer Protocol. I'm James. I'm drinking Warlock because I can.
Why are you drinking a warlock? Shouldn't you be drinking your deity so you can get the warlock's powers?
How do you think you get the Warlocks? How you can get to the deity?
I don't think drinking another warlock's gonna help you.
I mean, you can't. You don't know unless you try.
I mean, fair. Is it considered cannibalism still?
I
Depends on what race the warlock was.
yeah. So let's.
So does
Hi,
blinking
Jake.
twice for help, is that a universal thing, or should I specify that's what I'm doing up front?
Look. Jake's blinking SOS in Morse
We're,
code.
we're just assuming we're gonna help you. There's a difference.
So what you got there, Jake?
So this is Jake. I'm drinking a Gatorade because electrolytes. Also, I'm sick. And
What?
I'm only doing this because the internet no longer lets me have any peace. Used to be when I got sick, I would stay completely at home and play video games and read books,
see this-
and no one could talk to me. But with the invention of the internet, as an adult, I still have to do this.
Yes. We did ask if you were okay. You didn't have to jump
Once.
in.
We didn't ask if he was okay. We just asked if he was alive.
Yeah, we
There's
asked
a
if
big
you were alive.
difference. I was mostly
text
concerned of who
message.
else is gonna pay my rent.
Well, we figured you were sleeping. If you were sleeping, we were like, we didn't want to actually like wake you up.
Wake you up, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Matt.
Hi, Matt.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a
Cinder.
Kentucky kitty. Wait, why the kitty won't let me pick her
Because
up?
the cat has never been picked up before, and it was too stunned to react.
It was. She's now looking at me like, the fuck did you do?
I'm getting out of
Hey.
here.
Into the air. I'm drinking a Kentucky Mule, made out
Ooh.
of proper 12 and reads 0 sugar, extra great ginger beer.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, Matt. What did we have yesterday?
Backbreaking labor.
That too, but what was the most horrible thing we could possibly think of that we were like, this is actually pretty good?
I'm still mad about that. So
I'm gonna try to learn some of the rules that have changed for the mini
okay, go ahead.
while you guys tell
But we're
the
gonna
story.
have to discuss this.
So me and James watched a YouTube video yesterday of this couple who goes traveling to things, and they went to the Oogie Boogie's Not So Scary Halloween Bash in Disney, California.
They're called Ordinary
Whatever.
Adventures.
Yeah, them, the Ordinary Adventures people, and the lady of the two, she had a peanut butter and raspberry jelly hard cider mixed with peanut butter whiskey. So she said it was a 4 out of 5. And me and James went, fucking
Bullshit.
shit. We have to go get the ingredients and make it ourselves to prove her wrong because we're internet trolls.
Immediately ran to an ABC store and bought the stuff for this.
And then we made it and went, holy fuck, we're pissed. She's right. This is actually good. It tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
It really did take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Come on, well.
And I am mad about it because it shouldn't taste good.
Yeah.
So
there was a Ministraveganza.
No, I'm glad you guys were able to try to verify that an internet woman was correct about a drink, because that's the scientific method.
Mhm.
You have to iterate on the experimentation, and you need to be able to replicate those results in a public setting. So
Yeah,
well done, you're scientists.
And the sad part is the one she got would probably taste even better than the one we made, because she actually had hard cider that was brewed to taste like peanut butter and jelly on top of it.
Yeah.
So hers was even more impressive than ours, which makes me even more frustrating that can get even better and I can't have it.
Yeah. So, I really want another one. I don't know why. So, we had Ministraveganza. I actually got to watch a few segments. Posted some stuff about the new characters coming out. We got some new models being released.
Always got new models,
some
forever and ever.
some
There will
X-Men.
never not some X-Men.
You want
What?
You want to keep trying there, Jake? One day.
They have some X-Men.
Oh, he must be. His wireless must be acting up. He's just breaking up.
He's not on wireless. He's hardwired.
Shh.
Some X-Men.
Oh, I hate you. So, we've got,
Let's just call them what they are. They are men.
but they're X-Men
They are exceptional men.
and women
And women.
because magic is one of
Exceptional
them.
men. Exceptional men and rogue.
Rogue, Gambit,
Honey Badger. They spoiled that one.
we kind of got it wasn't really spoiled in the
Wait, is Honey
Ministraveganza,
Badger
but
an
like
actual X-Men?
Honey
Yes.
Badger's actually an X-Men. Yeah,
It's Wolverine's sister.
yeah.
It's
It's-
slightly less insane, slightly, than Deadpool, as in she doesn't break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And X-23, also known as Lady
Wolverine,
Wolverine.
which irritates me, but that
yeah.
has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
Juggernaut. We finally got Juggernaut.
I'm excited for
bitch.
Juggernaut.
I mean, that's fair. I'll let you be excited for your thing.
And Hulkbuster.
I'm excited for Hulkbuster.
Yeah, yeah. We're at the talking length about Hulkbuster.
Hulkbuster's worth talking in length about. We also got a few more of our regularly released spoilers for models that have already been seen. We got cards for Magic. We got cards
Mhm.
for. I feel like the new Doctor Strange was that week as well.
I don't
It's
remember
all
seeing the
kinda,
new
like,
Doctor
blurred
Strange,
together.
but I do remember seeing. I remember Magic, because I was actually
She
really
got a
impressed
sword.
with her card.
Really,
I
she's
don't
got all
remember.
kinds of fun stuff. But
She
we will talk
does.
about
But
Magic
we're
at a
gonna talk
later
about Magic
date.
later. There's so much to go over.
So let's start with general rules changes for roster building.
Actually, let's talk about the 10 tactic cards, Jake, because that's what I have on the
Yes,
left-hand side.
rules changes about roster building.
Here. Yeah,
It's almost like we didn't go over this.
we did. Go ahead.
Good
I know who-
teamwork.
All right, Jake. We had a plan. We immediately hit record and started drinking. We took that plan, balled it up, and went
and lit it on
play
fire.
cats.
So, when building your roster, Atomic Mass Games has been paying attention to how tournaments and other various competitive scenes has played out. A lot of the designers do have history with other war games.
Yep.
So, game balance is a thing they take seriously. And so they took this opportunity to make some changes to the core rules for Crisis Protocol. This is not as severe as like a War Machine or Hordes Mark 1 to Mark 2. It's not that big. Very incremental, which I think is the direction they're going to be going with going forward, is small incremental changes as needed and not really on a specific schedule. So the first ones we're going to talk about are related to building your roster for games, casual, event-driven, or for tournament play. As James already mentioned, one of the big ones is you can now take 10 tactics cards instead of 8.
Yep.
Now, for each game, you are still going to select which 5 you're going to play with, but having 2 more cards is likely to give everyone a little more flexibility. So, yes, you can take your staples like
Medpack.
or First Aid, depending on your particular flavor.
Brace for
Stuff
Impact.
or Brace for Impact's another one. They basically realized that a few tactics cards they are too valuable not to get taken. And so they were almost a constant in a lot of people's lists, which was kind of stifling taking the unique new cards that were getting printed for particular character combinations or for affiliation synergy.
And there was
So by just
the we were taking these base cards, and we really weren't taking affiliation cards or even specific character cards because we didn't know if we were going to play them. So it's kind of a waste of a slot to take a character card if you don't think you're going to have the character on the table.
Now, the other flip side of this, though, is they didn't actually increase how many cards you get to play with in a given game. You're still only playing with 5. So even though you can now take those combos, are you still going to take them over Medpack? And so it's
No.
going to be situational.
So the extra 2s, I will. I'll probably end up taking like a Venom card, or I'll take like, especially when you're doing like dual affiliations like Criminal Syndicate and Spyrofoes. I want to take a Spyrofoes card, and I want to take a Criminal Syndicate card, and those are probably going to be slotted into the 2 extra slots.
Yeah, I think this is going to wind up better supporting rosters that can play the 2 affiliations. Now you can take enough tactic cards to actually kit out both affiliation lists. I liken it somewhat similarly to a sideboard in Magic the Gathering, is you've got a little more flexibility for dealing with specific matchups. So if someone rolls up with a specific matchup you know you're going to struggle a little bit with, now you have a couple more aces in the hole that you might be able to take with you to help with that matchup.
Yep. Yep.
So as usual with tactics cards, how useful each one is going to vary a lot based on the general situation, what kind of new rules they come out with. But I think this is going to give people a little more creativity and room to kind of play with the various effects, which is good.
Which is also good
Uh,
because Infinity Gems have changed. We no longer have to use a slot for an Infinity Gem. We can go ahead and attach it to a character, and it's
Permanently.
just attached to that character. So once again, Jake.
So for example, say you want to take, let's say you're playing a Guardians of the Galaxy affiliation. You want to take Star-Lord. Follow me. You take Star-Lord at 3 points on his own, or you could take Star-Lord at 4 points with the Power Gem. Previously, you would have Star-Lord and the Power Gem as 2 different spots in your 10-man roster. Now you'll just have one spot, Star-Lord with Power Gem. The rub, and there is a downside, is that slot is fixed. You cannot play Star-Lord without the Power Gem. So for a lot of lists that could maybe take a gem, that is okay. I was probably going to take Doctor Strange with the Time Stone anyway, because I wouldn't have brought the Time Stone if I wasn't. So I've already factored that into my list building. But for some other lists, namely Black Order,
Black Order's going to hurt.
It's a direct slight nerf to Black Order, because Black Order had a lot of flexibility, not with their models, but who was taking what gem, is they could move those powers around pretty freely. So having to have a fixed position in the roster with a fixed gem does mean that it doesn't make them bad at all. It just means, if anything, you're telegraphing kind of what your game plan is a little bit, or at the very least, it makes you a little less flexible to deal with different situations. I'm going to cough and sneeze.
God bless you.
Congratulations.
So that's nice. It does get hurt Black Order a little bit. Now also, they announced that we can have multiple characters with the same name in the roster, not the squad. Before, this was a kind of like a universal thing. You're not allowed to have. Bye, Jake. Apparently, he sneezed so hard he
The
broke
camera
his
shut
internet.
off.
So before you had a you couldn't have Black Widow and Black Widow in your roster,
I'm back.
just the way it was written. Now you can have both Black Widows in your roster, but you still can't have both of them on the table at the same time.
So this is kind of nice. I know some people were kind of asking for this one.
Yeah.
I think this one's kind of a flat plateau. Like, it gives people flexibility.
I think
don't
this
think
is.
it's
I really do think this is kind of like this is what they intended, and the way they wrote it was oddly worded. It's just more of a clarification.
yeah, because it was clear you couldn't play a game with 2 models which were the same person. So now you can just have a little more list building flexibility. Good change.
Good change.
I think
Random?
What was our last one?
The random crisis.
Yes, this is actually really big.
This
might
is
be
huge.
the single biggest change to the core rules. Previously, when you were selecting which crises, which objectives, which scenarios to play, each player would randomly discard a card, and then they would choose from the 2 remaining. This gave people a lot of control over which scenario they wanted to play.
Yep.
So what that kind of wound up happening in a lot of games over time, I mean, the game's been out for almost 2 years, no, over 2 years.
Gamma shelters.
It let people keep playing the same scenarios that they had drilled for over and over and over again. So you could have your preference of, I want to play on gamma shelters because it makes big mosh pits and I like seeing lots of targets for AoEs. Or I like doing Wakandan herbs because it's gimmicky as hell. Or I like doing something with Criminal Syndicate which involves civilians and assets. I think one of the official explanations they gave is, on certain scenarios, people could essentially build their entire list upon getting the initiative on a specific crisis and then shutting their opponent out for most of the game because they just unpacked their list in a way with a specific tactic card
Yep.
or with a specific strategy. And that really did reduce the sort of interactivity of the game.
Yeah, Web Warriors got to the point where they could snag a objective on the first activation and get out of range, and you'd just never be able to get to it again. And it was everyone just planned for that. So this kind of like gives it a 1 in 3 chance of you getting that ability.
So the change, I think we talked about the change, is now instead of choosing from the remaining 2, you will just pick one at random from all 3. This is simpler, less decision making, but this has a lot of effects on the game.
It's also quicker.
Because
it's also a little quicker because sitting there looking at the 2 and it's now just boom. Okay, I got to play to that.
Yeah, but that means that people can no longer, because previously when it was discard 1, choose 1, that meant you really only had to be practiced with 2 of your 3 crises, and you could use the third one to basically troll your opponent.
Yeah.
Of like, oh my god, are they really going to play Gamma Shelters with like a Black Order list with all of that cost? Like, do I now have to try to predict that they're going to play a 14 or a 15 threat scenario?
Yeah.
And like try to cream me with just like 3 high threat models? And so they're making their plans around that, whereas you had never had any intention whatsoever of doing that. So now you need to be at least practiced or familiar with all 3 of your scenarios that you pick for each crisis type.
Technically,
which
6.
I think is probably going to be healthier.
It'll be more fun too.
It is going to be more fun. I really do like this change. I am not like, I know people are so angry. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, how are we going to like? Yeah, it's a scenario. Like, you shouldn't know what you're coming into. You should just be going into it.
Well, it's kind of like when you go back to the old War Machine days. Every round was different, and you never repeated, and it was random. Like, you just had to know them all. And sorry.
Yeah, this is a really good change. I really like it, and it does put more onus on knowing the game than just knowing those 2 scenarios you have really, really well.
Yeah.
Nope. There's no guarantee this is going to break up the logjam of people playing the same 3 or 4 scenarios and Crisis over and over again at the tournament and regular play level. But it should help spread out, so we're seeing more crises in play overall.
Yeah. So my biggest pet peeve.
I'm still crazy sick.
Yeah, my biggest pet peeve of the changes they were announcing, after I redesigned this wonderful comic layout for our beer protocol, is they're changing the fucking card layouts.
This one's a mixed bag because overall they have announced a change to card layout. So before people get too spun up, they have also announced there will be a free printable at home PDF for all of the cards in the new format if you wish to download them. The old cards are not, barring like 4 exceptions, the old cards have not changed.
That we know of. They said there might be more.
They've announced yet.
I'm hoping Green Goblin.
I was going to say, if they change some of the things they did change and leave Iron Man alone, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
I would be so happy. I would be so happy.
Working as intended. We meant for him to be this way.
We meant for him to be an ass. So
I mean, he is in the comics.
I do like a part
while you gather your thoughts and stutter, and I'll point aggressively at the camera.
Yeah.
One of the primary reasons they have changed to a landscape format is they are doing readability and accessibility is what they have promoted as the reasons for doing so. It is now black text on a white background instead of sort of the gray, and there's a lot less sort of art design. It's simply a big white block and minimalistic, sort of simple framing to make sure the rules get there.
Kind of like our layout here, where we have the white block with the black layout with the black lettering.
Now, overall, like I think the big negative consequence for some people is this makes the character art a lot smaller.
Yeah, whatever.
I kind of liked the big comic art style they were using, but that's fine. I do think it makes things a lot more readable, especially if you have any trouble or color blindness of picking out text.
Or you need glasses. it
That's
is
all.
it is nicer having a larger card, and it's also nicer having it in landscape, because a lot of the
It's
tables
better on your 4x4 table.
it's a lot better on our 4x4 table.
It also just means that certain sentences can run longer, so you have less, somewhat smaller stacks of text.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it looks fine.
The only thing I do not like about it is the paint splotch abstract bleh on the background.
To be fair, that looks almost identical to what they had in the regular cards too.
I still don't
Yeah.
like it. It's
see-
it's way more visible now, especially over the card art, the character art. It's just. I also do like having the for some reason I like having the defenses at the top and then all the information at the bottom of the card, or the bottom of that block. It's quicker for my eye to grab it.
Yeah. No, this definitely shows. I think they talked to some visual design and layout people, and they probably did a few rounds of focus testing internally, to see what pops out and what people are quick to scan going up and down the. So it seems fine. There will also, they did say they're going to sell like a fully laminated and cardstocked official version of the cards at some point.
I will be getting that.
Have like a big deck of cards.
Yeah.
And they've done this in the past too.
Yeah.
So overall card design, it is different. I do like how they have deliberately offset the costs of superpowers, and the specific stats about attack ability are now very, very clearly offset.
Very clear.
And demonstrated.
Now, they have the reason why they're updating some certain characters.
Which ones?
I mean, it's more a happy accident they're doing it at the same time. But
we know MODOK, Shuri, Captain America, Hulk, are the ones I think we know. I think there's one more possibly. I don't remember offhand.
Iron Man.
Yeah, it's just Hulk. I don't think Iron Man's on the list. But we are going to go over the changes in these because there is some significant play changes in like MODOK and Hulk especially.
You mean Hulk got defense?
Hulk got buffed.
Well, let's just start with Hulk, because Hulk was by far the one changed the most. Like there was some big changes for MODOK as well, but Hulk is the one who's actually going to see table play now because of these changes. Yeah. MODOK was going to see table play regardless because MODOK is still good.
So basically, the only change I saw on Hulk right off the bat,
yeah, his 2 and 2 defenses jumped to 4 physical and 3 energy and mystic. Those are real defenses.
Those are real defenses. His builder actually gains some power now.
Yes,
which
that's
is
huge.
Terrifying.
Because previously the only way he was getting power was his guaranteed 3 per turn. But Hulk also now gained a new status immunity to stun.
Oh, see, yeah, I missed that one. That's not.
So you
that's
cannot
not nice.
stun Hulk, which actually makes it very difficult to prevent him from gaining a lot of power. Because previously you could basically shut off his superpower that gave him extra power by stunning him.
Yeah. So, well, you could probably still root him and give him some problems, but
So Hulk has 2 spenders. So I think it's partially why they're just like, oh, boy needs power generation pretty badly.
And everyone's just using it for Gamma Leap. Oh, Gamma Leap did Gamma Leap go up to 3? Was it 2?
It was always 3.
Oh, I thought it was 2.
Oh. So looking at his attacks, his basic attack, Strike, is now building on energy and has 1 more dice of base damage.
Yep, that's also terrifying.
I think it's the only base attack builder I can think of that starts at 7 before any buffs. Now, other people can get to 7 on their builder. Amazing Spider-Man can use Web Swing to take his builder to a 7.
Yeah.
But Hulk just starts there, and he only gets more.
He's Hulk.
Looking at Thunderclap appears to be the same. Hulk Smash appears to be the same.
The same.
Gamma Leap and Strongest One There Is are the same.
Same.
However, James, I think you missed our boy has a brand new reaction superpower. Hulk, not Puny Banner.
I thought that was in there.
It was not. This
Wow,
is brand new.
this is how much I actually looked at Hulk. Like
That's what I kind of suspected when you said you only saw talking about his defense. It's like there's not much else here. I'm like, dude, they rebuilt this character.
I literally it glanced over this because I have not played Hulk since he like first came out.
There's a reason for that. I crushed your dreams when I Wakanda waved Hulk to the ground.
That is true.
That should not be possible anymore.
Mm-mm.
Hulk, not Puny Banner, cost 3. While this character is defending against a physical or energy attack during the modified dice step of the attack, it may use the superpower. This character can re-roll any number of its defense dice, including skulls.
That's awesome for 3.
So they gave Hulk, who is notorious for being the punching bag of the entire meta, a massively strong defensive superpower on top of having better defenses and making him immune to stun, which was the main status condition that could really hamper his energy income.
Yeah,
Now he could still be poisoned, he could still be rooted, which will all negatively impact his economy. But stun was the single biggest boogeyman that could make a Hulk player sad. Well, that and stagger, but there's not. Oh, Hulk's also immune to poison. Already was immune to poison.
He's already immune to poison.
So root, you can root Hulk, which makes him pay 1 more for these abilities, which will hurt Hulk because his abilities are expensive. But he generally is. While his abilities are expensive, his actual spender attacks are not that expensive for someone who makes as much power as he does. So Hulk will likely get to do what Hulk wants.
And there's inner raise, and you wouldn't like me when I'm angry at the same too.
Yes. Well, no. You won't like me when I'm angry has been slightly nerfed. Now he adds 1 dice for every 4 damage he has instead of 3.
Oh, okay.
So that is slightly nerfed, but again, raising Hulk's base damage die for his builder by 1 absolutely makes sense. They would nerf the more dice aspect of that because Hulk already hits like a truck. And just giving that extra gain almost it probably equals adding the 1 die to his basic attack is what he would have gotten from keeping you won't like me when I'm angry the same.
So how do we feel about overall this Ministraveganza compared to like last year's? Like,
I mean, we still got stuff to talk about.
But
do you want to take the pulse now, or do you just want to talk about specific things?
I actually like. I think we should just talk in general because I think we need to. When we get more information on, like what other characters are being, we're gonna have to go through a whole entire series of. We're gonna look at the 2 cards and go back and forth and see what changed and how we can play with them because Hulk is now. He's viable for an Avenger, positively for an Avenger.
And to defenders, Hulk is a 6th threat model now.
He's still
Hulk was the first 6th threat model, but everything that's come after him has been way above his weight class.
He now feels like a 6 threat model.
So we probably don't need to go through specifics. Like just again to temper expectations a little bit based on the changes they made to the other models they've tweaked. Hulk is by far the most substantive.
Yeah.
Everything else is just specific wording changes.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's an entire I don't think there's going to be entire episodes dedicated for each of the characters.
No, not for each of the characters, just an overall for like we just can bunch in a bunch of them. But I think this one was actually way better than last Ministraveganza. It felt so like the round tables where they were talking about the characters and stuff and showing the new cards felt very you can tell that the team is actually really excited about the way the game is going. They actually had that energy of, we love what we're doing. We really enjoy this. Not just and here's a new model that we're going to be putting out. And no, they're really really excited. The changes they announced. I think the best one is the random crisis selection.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be the most substantive rules change.
I do like the extra tactic cards. It's going to make me be able to take like a Carnage card here or there.
I mean, you're saying that, but it's still only 5 for the actual game you're playing.
I know, but
I
it's
I honestly don't think it's going to have that much of a change. You're still going to take your same 5 cards that you're
Yeah,
always
you're
going to
still
take.
going to take Med
You're
Pack, Brace for Impact.
but the thing is I'm not going to like if having the 2 extra cards lets me bring in cards for Venom, like a Venom specific card.
Mhm.
I'm still gonna have like Med Pack and I'm gonna have Brace for Impact. I'll probably have like my Criminal Syndicate cards, but now it's like, I'm not gonna be playing Venom all the time. I don't want to bring Venom's card. Now I have extra choices. I can have Venom's card in there to be like,
Yeah,
no, I totally need Venom's card for this.
like no, I get you. I feel like that it's appreciated, but it feels pretty minor.
It's minor. I still enjoy it. I still
Yeah,
enjoy
it's
it.
one of those things where it's like, okay.
I don't bring Infinity Gems, so it's
Again,
good
I
for that.
think that is very much directed at Black Order more than anything else. I feel like that was a specific core rule change to rein Black Order in a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, Black Order
Which
was
is
not horrible. It's just it was more of I think people were getting upset that an Infinity Gem just took up a slot, so like Defenders
well,
became
you say Black Order is not terrible, but from what I understood, they were top 3 at most tournaments for the last year. So
I'm
when one
saying
affiliation is currently dominating the meta, that's generally when you start making core rules changes to rein
yeah,
them in a little bit.
this helps things like Defenders because they're like you could do a Defenders wide list and you're not like, but I really don't want to bring an Infinity Gem in it for Strange. Now you can just be like, yeah, cool. I'll just bring the Infinity Gem for Strange because I'm definitely going to be using that.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
You're saying it.
Black Order had so many few characters that
Mhm.
dropping in Infinity Gems and just running the same characters was not a problem.
Mhm.
Making them like basically boosting the strong characters they already had. With like
Yeah,
Defenders, you didn't want to take up a slot for just an Infinity Gem you might use.
okay.
But now you have to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're going to make your already expensive leader cost more.
When you weren't even
And then you
sure you're
said
going
this
to
in
use it to
conjunction with the
begin with.
Defender's wide list. I'm so confused at your roster building words you're throwing out there. All of these things you're saying are possible. Are they feasible or practical? I don't know.
Feasible, yes.
I've
Practical, no. But it came from one of us, so practicality is already at a minimum.
I have been
Look,
looking at some Defenders lists, so
all I'm saying is I would love another Defender's leader at like 3 threat, so I don't have to keep pumping 5 threat into Strange, and I could actually like live my street level defenders of all the 3 and 4 threat dudes.
who would be a good street level defender leader then?
I'm slightly surprised
Daredevil?
Daredevil didn't have one.
I'm very surprised Daredevil didn't have one.
Or have heroes for hire. Like Luke Cage would be a good opportunity too for heroes for hire as
Yeah.
another Defenders affiliation leadership theme.
If they ever bring out like a Jessica Jones,
Maybe. It wouldn't
just
surprise me too much. I mean, Defenders
alcoholism being a power.
Defenders is a pretty
They would
broad
be
affiliation at this
superheroes,
point.
James.
Okay, but we are off the beaten track.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this year's Ministraveganza. Sound off and let us know which models from the extravaganza you'd like us to cover first.
Yeah.
Because there are new cards and new information about a lot of these, especially the new X-Men.
And we would like to announce that we are once again doing our food machine in Northern Virginia, Huzzah Hobbies, December 11th. We'll be doing an MCP tournament, and we will be having a Subway battle board. It is starting to look amazing. It's even going to get better because we're now adding LEDs to it. So, yeah, it's going to be a beautiful board to play on. For like 10 cans, you can enter a tournament. Everyone gets a prize. And you get to help out a very good charity feeding people in need in the Northern Virginia area.
Yeah.
So,
So if you too are confused about what a Defender's wide list is, and you're in the Northern Virginia area, please come on down to Huzzah Hobbies on December 11th and help me teach James that this is gibberish.
hey, oh, look at that. Oh, we crashed. Terrible. Game off.
Hey, bye.
Bye.